Hello and welcome to our Organizational Behaviour series. My name is Dr. Subhamanasini Nayak and I'll be your guide through this module. In our previous video, we explored Module 1 of Organizational Behaviour. Today, we are going to dive into Module 2, that is Attitude and Personality of Organizational Behaviour. So, without any delay, let's get started. What is attitude? Attitude is defined as a mental state of readiness organized through experience which exerts a directive or dynamic influence on the responses on an individual to all objects and situations with which the individual is related. Each of these beliefs is a predisposition that results in some preferential response towards the object or the situation. Attitudes are influenced by values and are acquired from the same sources as values. Attitudes are more specific and less stable than values. An attitude is a predisposition to respond in a positive or negative way to someone or something in one's environment. There are basically three parts of an attitude: cognitive, affective, and behavioral intentions. Cognitive are the perception and beliefs about an attitude object. Affective are the feelings about an attitude object. Behavioral intentions are how the person wants to behave and what a person says about an attitude object. These are also known as the components of an attitude. Attitudes are simply expressions of much we like or dislike various things. Attitudes represent our evaluations, preferences, or rejections based on the information we receive. The right attitude determines how you view things, how you view life, how we face adversity, how face obstacles, quality of your life. Basically, attitude is everything. So the next is characteristics of attitude. Attitude are the complex combination of things we call personality, beliefs, values, behaviors and motivations. It can fall anywhere along a continuum from very favorable to very unfavorable. All people, irrespective of their status or intelligence, hold attitudes. An attitude exists in every person's mind. It helps to define our identity, guide our actions, and influence how we judge people. Although the feeling and belief components of attitude are internal to a person, we can view a person's attitude from their resulting behavior. Attitude helps us define how we see situation and define how we behave toward the situation or object. It provides us with internal cognitions, beliefs, and thoughts about people and objects. It can also be explicit and implicit. Explicit attitude is those that we are consciously aware of. An implicit attitude is unconscious but still affect our behaviors. Attitude cause us to behave in a particular way toward an object or person. There are few points of formation of attitude like mass media, classical conditioning operant, conditioning experience with object, family and peer group, neighborhood economic status, indirect experience. Attitude is something that lies between emotions and thought processing. It may be positive or negative. In organizational behavior, three types of attitudes are there: job satisfaction, job involvement, organizational commitment. Daniel Catch outlines four functions of attitude areas: adjustment function, ego defensive function, value expressive function, and knowledge function. The most important function of an attitude can only be ascertained by considering it concerning the person who holds it and the environment in which they operate. Let's discuss this in brief. Social adjustment function. Attitudes can serve a social adjustment function by helping us fit into our social environment. So, people tend to adopt attitudes that are socially acceptable and in line with the norms and values of their social group. For instance, a person may adopt a positive attitude towards environmental conservation to fit into a group of environmental activists. Ego defensive function. Attitudes can serve an ego defensive function by protecting our self esteem and justifying our behavior. For example, a person with a negative attitude towards a particular group of people may justify their discriminatory behavior by convincing themselves that the group. Value expressive function. Attitudes can serve a value expressive function by expressing our values and beliefs. People tend to adopt attitudes that align with their core values and beliefs. For example, a person who values honesty and integrity may have a negative attitude towards dishonesty. Knowledge function. Attitudes can serve a knowledge function by helping us organize and understand our environment. Attitudes help us categorize information and form expectations about objects, peoples, and situations. For instance, a person who has a positive attitude towards a particular brand may have certain expectation about the quality and performance of the brand's product. Barriers to change attitudes are prior commitment, insufficient information, balance and consistency, lack of resources, improper reward system, resistance to change. Prior commitment. When people feel a commitment towards a particular course of action that has already been agreed upon, it becomes difficult for them to change or accept the new ways of functioning. Insufficient information. It also acts as a major barrier to change attitudes. Sometimes people do not see why they should change their attitude due to the unavailability of adequate information. Balance and consistency. Another obstacle to change of attitude is the attitude theory of balance and consistency. Human beings prefer their attitudes about people and things to be in line with their behaviors towards each other and objects. Lack of resources. If plans become excessively ambitious, they can sometimes be obstructed by the lack of resources in a company or organization. So, in this case, if the organization wants to change the employee's attitude towards the new plan, sometimes it becomes impossible for the lack of resources to achieve this. Improper reward system. Sometimes an improper reward system acts as a barrier to changing attitudes. Suppose an organization emphasizes short term performance and results too much. In that case, managers may ignore long term issues as they set goals and formulate plans to achieve higher profit in the short term. If this reward system is introduced in the organization, employees are motivated to change their attitude. Resistance to change. Another barrier is resistance to change. Basically, change is a continuous process within and outside the organization to achieve the set goal. When the authority changes the plan of the organization, the employees have to change themselves. But some of them do not like this. If their attitude regarding the change of plan cannot be changed, the organization will not be successful. How to change the attitude? Understanding the importance of attitude. Before we go deep into how to change our attitude, let's first understand why it's essential. Our attitude is a way of looking at the world and the surrounding environment. It's the communication channel through which we view our experiences and also see that how it affects the way we see and respond to situations. So, having a positive attitude can improve our mental and emotional well being as well as our relationship with others. Other hand, a negative attitude can lead to stress, anxiety, and depression. Recognizing what we cannot change. The first step in changing our attitude recognizes the things we cannot change. It's essential to accept that some situations are out of our control and that we cannot change them, no matter how hard we try. This acceptance can be challenging and it's natural to feel uncertain and distressed. However, recognizing what we cannot change can free up mental and emotional resources to focus on the things we can change. Shifting our perspective. Once we have acknowledged what we cannot change, it's time to shift our perspective. Instead of focusing on the negative aspect of the situation, we can choose to focus on the positive. One way to do this is to practice gratitude. Focusing on the things we are thankful for, even in difficult circumstances, can help us maintain a positive attitude. Additionally, reframing the situation and looking for potential opportunities can help us shift our perspective and find meaning in our experiences. Developing coping strategies. And lastly, it's essential to develop coping strategies to manage our emotions and maintain a positive attitude. Coping strategies can also include things like mindfulness, exercise, or seeking support from others. These are the common elements. Mindfulness, for example, can help us stay present and aware of our thoughts and emotions, reducing stress and anxiety. Exercise can improve our mental and emotional well being, and seeking support from others can provide us with a sense of community and help us feel less alone. Formation and consequences of attitudes. Attitudes can be shaped by a variety of factors, including individual personality, life experiences, and situational factors. It can also be caused by the social context, such as the attitudes of peers, supervisors, or the larger organization. This is the part 1 of module 2, and the next part will be covered in the upcoming video. Thanks for watching Education Enlightened. Don't forget to hit the bell icon for more educational content. This is your host, Dr. Subhamanasini Nayak, signing off.